crib. We're going to talk a little bit about Pillage tonight, and maybe a Wrong Thinker Thinks post was scheduled for yesterday, got rescheduled for today. Maybe it will drop during the show, but let me introduce everybody. Aussie.
Good morning, everybody.
Somebody hasn't turned off their tubes.
Jeff just went mute, so maybe it's him.
It's me. It's all good now.
Okay. And Lady Cat.
Hello.
Hello. And Jeff.
Hello. It's not
Hello.
now, is it?
No, I think it was Lady Cat that was causing the.
Yeah.
I almost made her wait till last to get introduced, but as a punishment for her foul. But and I don't know where Mike is. He's just not reading his posts, or his messages, I guess. So, well, let's get. There he is. Speak of the devil. I guess he was listening to the show. Hey, Mike.
Or not.
Well, he's on mute, but I don't know. Okay, well, let's go.
I was tending to something that I couldn't get away from.
Okay. So you're making water again, I guess. Okay.
No, I wish that's all it was.
Okay. Well, let's move to the first slide. All right. I've never blitzed anything. Has anybody run into this problem where you couldn't blitz if your resources were nearly full?
No, I'm not a blitzer.
I don't blitz, so I don't really pay any attention. But I have noticed, though, that when I have hit targets and I come out, that it does say you can't blitz it for some reason. But I wasn't blitzing anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? But it does say you can't blitz it. It doesn't actually tell you why.
You can't blitz it if somebody has already been in it.
No. This is a full target. It's a new target.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
that's the only thing I've ever noticed. Why is my shit moving so slow?
Okay. And sometimes they will announce things that appear to be completely irrelevant, and they don't announce things that have some relevancy. Like about 3 weeks ago, they fixed the locator. At least it works way better for me. If I start looking for FM targets, it used to send me to other sectors to find them. And now it's finding ones that are, within 10 seconds of my base. So, but they never announced that. And they never, you want to click one more time? They never announced that they changed the combat speed of the Praetorian a couple weeks ago. They used, on the left-hand side is the original speed. This is from the briefing when it was released of 35. And then they changed it to 38, the one on the right, which I took from my base earlier today, to match the speed of the flagship. But they never communicated this to anybody. So, and it seems to impact players that ran out of sync drives to use for it more than other players. So,
and that's me he's talking about.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, kickside communication is really bad. And the lack of communication. Disaffected my build because I had slowed down my flag to match my other ships. So now my flag is lagging behind.
She did some weird things to fix it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because I didn't have
probably wouldn't be advised.
No, I wouldn't have recommended it, but I already built the other ones with a different engine. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, the main point is there's a lot of stuff that slips in that is actually much more important than the bug fixes that don't actually make it into the bug fixes or the weekly briefing, the update. So, oh well. Let's move on unless anybody has any more bug fixes you want to talk about. Nope. Okay. Right now we are in Pillage. From today through the 8th. Next week we got the raid, another 6-day raid, followed by shipwrecks and the FM restarting VXP weekend, and then bounty. So as opposed to having shipwrecks 1 month and bounty the next month, it appears that we're getting both in a month. So, but this is also a reminder for players to start thinking about saving. Well, it might be, I should have reminded you all last week, but saving your tokens for the raid. But this week's a little bit different because in Pillage, we're going to talk about, we got a new flagship, so you might want to use those. But we'll see. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Anybody have anything on the calendar?
No, it just feels like something every week. It's overwhelming.
Something like what? An event every week?
Like a Pillage. It feels like a raid every week because of the those of us that have to auto the 120s. Yeah, it just feels like so much every week. Raid, bounty, EXP, Pillage, raid.
Well, EXP has become a non-event, and then
Yeah,
I think we'll get
have all the TLCs and stuff. But yeah, it just seems like a lot.
Yeah, well, I think this is going to be the first week that's going to be a real test of the cost that they provided in the FM of the 25 million, or basically the 250 million plus ask that they provided in the FM. How that's going to work with something like Pillage, which is also can be a pretty big ask in regards to either time spent, coins, whatnot. I'm sure, as you see, there's people that finish the Pillage in the first couple of minutes, but that's not, that's not true of the entire player base. So yeah, this is going to be the week where a lot of people maybe want to use the Praetorians in the Pillage, but they also have to use them in the FM, or maybe use, you got different options. I guess that's good, but we'll get into that in a second. So, okay, let's move on unless anybody has anything. All right, Pillage. Yay. Let's go. Okay, next one. All right, as we were talking about before, you do have some choices on what you want to use. You see the Praetorians are the 126 and 124 targets. And then we have for Praetorians, and then we have the assault ones at the same value, 20,000 for the entire set bonus of each. And then the Inferno Dragon Manicore, which is going to be 5,000 for the set, so a quarter. And then the ones that, it's going to take you years to finish with the 45s and the 41s. Anybody have any thoughts on this? Has anybody tried? I saw some people talking about the amount of damage they were taking in the 104, 106. I haven't tried them or even looked at to see which targets they are.
They're pretty easy.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the 104. It's doable. It just takes time because you gotta to do it for little to no damage. You gotta hide in the clouds, and it's a time thing.
Yeah, Mike's saying the 63 is a joke. A hard joke, or I'm not. You got to provide a little bit more of details. I've done the 63. The 63 I did with my mana cores, and it was instant repair in the in the dock. Yeah, the last one I did was like 10 minutes total. So I don't know. You got to provide a little bit more, detail. So, okay.
And you lost a fleet in the 104 and 106. What fleet, Ryan? And are you hiding in the clouds and doing all the special tricks?
So, okay. So there we go. Let's take a look at some of the.
If he's talking about the 63, he's just talking about the ones where the Manticores just get ripped up by the radiation guns.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to say, Mike, on the that you lost your Manticores in the 63. Oh, are they missile manties? That's probably it. My run the scatter guns. The missile manties are going to have all that penetrative damage. So the ghost crawler is, unless you play it right, like we've been doing in the assault. If you had Nemesis, if you're using NEMS, you have to play a little game as far as killing that tower and then properly luring it back out at the proper time. So that might have been the issue if you're running the missile Manticores.
Has that got a ghost crawler in the 63s? Because I haven't done one.
Yeah, it has a
I
ghost.
thought last time
it's the old 83 or 86 target. It was one of the A set targets during the raid.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Ryan, I would recommend going to YouTube and searching for some videos on how to run those targets. There's ways to hide in the clouds to keep your damage way down.
Obviously, not doing something right.
Yep. So, okay, let's move on and see what else we have. All right, the Ironclaw Dragon, 7-day plus build, 60,000 points in. The basic stats are identical to the normal Dragoon. The two differences are the Panzer defense field, which we'll get into in a minute, and there's built-in shrapnel grenades that have a range of 50. I don't know enough about them to know if this range of 50 is a shrapnel grenade. Is it ballistic? B, is it boosted by anything that would provide a range boost to the cannons on the ship? Because shrapnel grenades personally do not sound like cannons to me. I mean, they could be, I guess, but there's not enough information provided here, I think. The other thing that we get elsewhere in our weapons is projectile speed, and there's some things missing in here that we normally see with our basic weapons.
Yeah, well, hopefully it is a cannon. If it is a cannon, then it will hopefully work like the inbuilt mortar in the Basilisk, where it gets the extra range provided by any special.
Mm-hmm.
So, but obviously, yeah, like you say, if it's not a cannon, it's not going to get the extra range, is it? So
yeah, and
it's a bit useless.
What would it be? I mean, what could it be if it wasn't ballistic?
Well, you think grenade, you think explosive?
Right.
I mean, that's just by the name. They could have come up with a different name, and that might have limited any confusion associated with it. It's just the naming is, and not providing any information on it is. But we could all jump to the assumption it's ballistic. But I'm just saying I don't know at this point.
Right.
And it doesn't
say
anything.
You would assume it's ballistic because it's a ballistic hull. But yeah.
Yeah, we also would have assumed that they would have released VXP tokens so we could rank these up prior to the Bronze Age, or Bronze Rage, I'm sorry. But they didn't do that. So, but let's get a little bit more into the really important part of this flagship, at least in my opinion, without seeing the built-in shrapnel grades, is the Panzer defense field with a radioactive survival boost to all 5 of your ships of 16,000. It's 3,400 for the normal ships, but give it a click there, Lady Cat. Okay. This table on the right shows if you had 5 normal Dragoons, not the Ironclaw, and you can see across the top the survival increases. So with a blank ship, no armor, nothing else, 5 dragoons would give you a basically a 300% armor increase or health increase. If you add the flag in there, it jumps up to 500%, which is a 67% increase over having the not having the flag and having 5 of the normal ships, which is quite significant. So it's pretty much I don't know. And then over here, just looking, I've saved this from the previous week, was just trying to convince people not to put CL4 on, and I've just updated it. And yeah, CL4 looks even worse at this point. So I would try and get the Dragoon out. As I recall, if you go back one, doesn't have a range. So yeah, it doesn't have a range. It's basically your normal flagship effect. So you don't feel like you need to get it completely built, but I would build it just for the defensive quality. It could be one that could be parked in the corner, is what I'm saying. If you don't have the ability, because it's 7 days, 4 hours, the raid's in a week, so you might not be able to get this done. Any thoughts on this, anybody?
I was good until you told me how long it was going to take to build.
Yeah, just the base hull of 7 days is a problem. I haven't even started upgrading my other ships, although I'm thinking this would take precedence because of the survival that it gives to my other ships.
1 second, I need to talk about something. I'm doing something
Okay.
for my YouTube to catch up, so I'm actually... Oh, come on.
So how long is this thing going to take to build with all its parts?
18 days, I think it was.
Okay, so we have 6. Luckily, they gave us an FM this time, so we could subtract 6.
If you save tokens, you could probably at least get a blank out to set in the corner.
And then we got tokens in the TLC. That was another 5 if you did it.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm back. I had to boot somebody off the channel, and I can't do it through StreamYard. So let's get 2 more clicks. Okay. The other special thing about this is the addition of 2 heavy weapon slots. There's not we had 6 before, so they just added them on. So it's going to get a little tricky in regards to ship weight. I looked at my builds, and I'm going to have to put at least 2 Gale 4s in there in the normal weapon slots in order to make weight.
And wait for the ship or wait for the fleet?
The ship, because the way that the dock is set up, you can't go overweight in the dock.
Right.
So yeah. But yeah, the ship goes overweight because, my build was pretty close to the max before, and we have this, and now you're just adding 2 weapons onto it. So.
But will this need armor?
Not in the beginning, I don't think.
Well, this.
I wouldn't. I mean, if you have the ability to put armor on, I would put armor on it. But what I'm saying is, I wouldn't build it weight-wise to remove the armor.
Okay.
If that was the real crux of your question.
Well, I'm just wondering if I had to move something, if armor would be what I could lose, because it gives me so much survival.
time wise is what the real question is. If we want to get done by the
Yeah.
raid, what do we not put on it? The specials, some of the weapons, the armor. What do we strip?
If you're gonna have problems getting it done, I would just build it and let it park it in the corner. Assuming you're not running any sync drives on anything, you don't have to worry about putting an engine parking in the corner. But because it's a week until the raid and it's got a 7+ day build time, I would do that. You could try and do it without armor, but I think you probably, at the end of the day, unless it's a fully built ship, you're more likely better off to park it in the corner and then just use this defensive boost. So
there's no range on it, like you said, so hopefully that works this time.
Yeah, and hopefully that will work. So
unless we that extra damage that it's going to provide.
And we'll get into that. But if it's also taking extra damage because it's half built, and we'll get into more. If it's actually, we'll get into that next. Well, let's go to the next slide. All right, the Lancer pack. What stands out as the improvement over the Tyrant Siege Cannon to anybody that hasn't already seen the slides?
Wall damage instead of regular damage?
What?
Surge damage as well.
Wall damage and building damage.
That they're high, or, I mean, does it look like it does more damage than the Tyrant Siege Cannon?
To the buildings, yeah.
Sort of.
Am I missing?
I think you are missing. And this is what I'm trying to get across. This is what I'm trying to get across to people. Is it does have a better alpha strike, a first strike, than the Tyrant Siege Cannon. Notice it has a reload time of 5, while the other one's 4.8. Not really that relevant. Can you give me one more click?
But it doesn't respond to reload. Yeah.
The Lancer pack does not benefit from reload bonuses. So on the top, I looked at the reload of my ship. It's Scald, and it's got a 125 or 150, whatever the fast feed provides, and the damage and whatnot. So the Tyrant does twice the damage per second of the Lancer. So the big difference in why you would want this is not really, it's the initial alpha strike and the splash. So I'm still struggling without seeing the targets, exactly how to build. Do I need to build to increase my splash and potentially damage many more turrets at that point in time? Or am I fine with the splash of 20? So.
Yeah, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But also the pack's got submerged damage.
Well, they've reduced the. Okay, when they show something in there that's lower than the normal ones, that's because they don't want you to use it that way. Like if it,
why would it be
like,
there? Why would they put it?
To do a chore.
Yeah, maybe to. Okay, I got a reason. Is to do the SSRB.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah, I just thought of that.
Yeah, if there's mines. And that also reminds me, where did we see this before? Let me look at the slides. Let's quickly go to, let me find the slide number for you. I think it's going to be slide 9. Go to slide 9 if you could. Okay. The other, in the future, you see where it says slide 9 right there?
Yeah.
You can just select that and go to any slide you want.
Oh, okay, cool.
In the future, this is a new Tier 8 experimental hull like the Suppressor, designed for speed and agility. It also is immune to some draconian slowing technology. So we might be seeing something similar to what we see in the SSRBs as far as these these mines that pop up and slow us down. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Mm.
those little ice fields.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Anybody else have much else? I didn't make that many slides. Because I thought Wrong Thinker was going to have his dealio, and also I have the edge of a hurricane on my house, so I wasn't sure how long I was actually going to be able to go with the show.
Yeah, it could lose you at any moment. It could blow away.
Yeah, I've already strapped myself to a telephone pole, so. But I've seen them break in half, even the metal one.
Well, hopefully it keeps turning. And hopefully anybody else in the storm's way gets through safely.
Yep. So is there anything else that, is there something I'm missing as far as, do we want to talk more about the pillage targets? Because I just set this up to run through it quickly. Killing time, and just in case Wrong Thinker decides to put his post out tonight, even though we had confirmation that it is supposed to come out this evening. Nobody has anything.
No, they didn't. They didn't really change pillage, which is actually good. It's about the same damage as last time. They could have upped the damage and made it harder, but
So you need sprints on your Praetorians.
yeah, I did put 8 of those on, but that wasn't enough.
Wow.
But just with the adjustments of adding a few sprints, it's instant base repair for the first target and like 2 minutes per ship on the second target, which I can live with. It's a pain in the behind, but it's doable.
And that works in the 131 also.
Yeah, the 131, it only shaved a bit of damage off, but it didn't hurt. But it didn't hurt me as much. Like, it's a completely different target, and in the 131, it didn't really shave much damage off.
Because you got some rockets and some missiles in there.
Yeah, and I'm getting mostly missile damage, so I'm thinking that the sprints aren't helping me that much.
Yeah, sorry for the somebody had decided to vacuum in my room, so I'm back now though. And I posted a link.
You can't get good help these days.
No, yeah. But I posted a link in the right-hand side in case anybody would like to join. As we wait out Wrong Thinker and his what we assume is going to be a post about rebalancing the interceptors, but I'm not. Probably won't talk about it much if that's what it is, but that's the assumption what the majority of it's about. So anybody's welcome to join if you'd like to.
Even Wrong Thinker.
Now that would be nice.
Yep.
Let's see if Half Centaur or somebody wants to come over and say hello.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Could ask them a couple questions. I'd be nice.
Yeah, they already specifically said I could, if they came on, I had to kick you off. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's mean.
it's already been discussed as far as somebody.
They must have read my ticket.
Yeah, you and Mike. So yeah,
I was furious about the Praetorians and not being told.
Oh yeah, it appears to be something mechanically wrong with how they go from. It's more recent because they used to have 6 or 6. I remember 2 pages of bug fixes at times. 2 slides. And now we're down to like, okay, we got to have a bug fix. Let's do one. Let's do one a week, and it's almost sort of like it's not really there to inform us. It's like they're there to check a box.
I don't believe that we were informed anywhere. I know we weren't in any of the information from Gilly, but it could have come across Discord. I don't know because I don't go there anymore. And it could have come across on a forum post, but I don't read through 50 pages of forum posts to pick out one little bit of information. So they need to learn how to communicate this. I don't think they did tell anybody, but
well, what I'm saying is they had some changeover in who's in QA, and they've also had this whole huge structure change as far as there's really no San Francisco office together that was coordinating the offices in Canada and Australia. And so maybe there's a linkage there that's missing that was there before. Hold on 1 second, the vacuum started again.
well, we need to get them to hire a coordinator. I'm surprised you don't have like a hot Swedish girl in your slides now that still front bot kick side. You know, I miss the whip. You know, and they sort of try. They're giving us a little more information, I guess, than they used to. But back before they stopped giving us information, they used to give us a lot. We had a good working process. Posts every week. We knew what they were working on. We knew what enhancements were. It wasn't just miscellaneous bug fixes and enhancements.
Enhancements? What are enhancements? I'm curious now.
You may not want to know.
Mm-hmm.
The locator, that's an enhancement.
You got your cert? Come on. It took you years, but you got it?
Okay, yeah, that's an enhancement. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. When was the one before? A knowledge test here. When was the last enhancement before the search?
The battle log that have face idea.
The battle report one.
Yeah.
But that was only marginally followed. It doesn't. It only helps a little bit. It can't really get you the rest of the way. But it was an enhancement. I'll grant you that.
Okay, were you thinking of something else?
No, I was actually a quiz for you guys. Didn't expect to know the answer.
It's a rhetorical question.
Yeah. But enhancements are few and far between, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
They're adding new content all the time, but actual enhancements.
BC, and I don't think of the Praetorian speed change as a bug fix because it was never listed as a bug. They changed it based on player feedback, apparently.
But quite honestly, with the port going on, they can't really add enhancements. It's a major pain in the behind if you have two code bases that need to change at the same time. You don't want to lose anything you're doing in one. So that's my defense for them. You can't really make changes without screwing up the other team.
Yeah. Hey, Ben, how are you doing?
Hey, guys. Doing good. How about you?
And you're looking younger.
What was that?
Said you're looking younger.
Yeah, that's my little pride and joy right now.
Okay.
That's the grandson.
Okay. So how is the pillage going for you? I know you were able to. I haven't even hit the 120 targets. Has there been a change in the graphics on them?
No.
No, same.
Huh.
No, the graphics are the same.
That's interesting.
Everything's the same in them.
I'm curious.
Yeah, I was able to do 3 full sets for I think like 4 hours damage.
Mm-hmm. Ben, are you taking the same amount of damage that you were taking before?
Yeah, I'm getting map repair instant for the 124 and 10 to 15 minutes total on the 126.
Okay, so about the same. So
yeah,
they promised.
They didn't change them much between now and then.
Yeah,
if at all.
Yeah, They promised to make some changes because some of those missiles are actually rockets, and that's been worked so well.
I never noticed. They might have changed the graphics so that they're actually accurate, though. I didn't notice, but they didn't change the target at all.
Yeah, I was just wondering if the graphics changed at all to reflect that some of these are actually rockets and not missiles.
Actually, I'll go hit it now and see.
Okay.
Do it live. Do it live.
Uh-oh. We're gonna have to. It's time to watch Jeff die again.
Oh yeah, Jeff dying time. Okay.
Yeah.
We rename the show Jeff Dying Time.
Yeah. Jeff
Okay.
dies.
This segment is sponsored by Sven Yocon.
Yeah. We might change your name to Kenny.
That would be great.
And you can blame Canada.
Yeah. we already did. Philip and who's the other guy?
Terrence and Philip.
Terrence and Philip.
There we go. Yeah.
How the hell did I know that so quick?
Did it feel like screen?
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm sharing your screen.
Okay. I didn't think we'd have an occasion to show, but
Oh yeah, this is.
we have to check the graphics out, right? Okay. What am I looking for? What number am I looking for?
126.
Yeah.
Yep. 42-second wait here. Do some filling.
All right, be right back, guys.
Yeah, I wonder if they did change the graphics. Kind of doubt it.
Well, if they did, they wouldn't tell us.
They usually tell us things that are to our advantage, though.
But if the players asked for the speed change difference, that was to the player's advantage.
That's true.
They didn't tell us.
How much did they speed them up by?
They're the same. And I'd put slowdowns on my flag to slow it down. I know, it's so stupid, but it's what I had to do.
Okay, going in.
Or put a sync drive on, but it's all good.
Or I didn't have it. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, if they didn't limit our limited items.
So which one are we trying to analyze? Whoops.
Well, supposedly from what from what we were told, the reason that we saw this big difference that Ben was doing much better, and he had all sprints, and I was trying to figure out why the sprints were performing better. So I asked the people at Kicksai, and I have a hard time because I think you have way more resolution than I do, seeing a lot of the details here. But we were told the reason was that despite these all these things looking like missiles, that some of them are actually rockets. And I don't see anything, they all look like vulture missiles to me at this point in time. And can you see any difference in the actual projectiles that they fire? Because it seemed like an easy thing for them to change.
Yeah, the one that's firing at me now has got...
It's a mortar. Yeah, that one's a mortar.
Okay. And the ships are shooting something really unusual now. They're big orange. See that? They're big orange missile-looking things.
And
But they're a little bit bigger. Those look like missiles to me now. Where they always look like missiles?
I think they always look like missiles to me.
Yeah.
And from what I was able to ascertain, the issue is associated with the turrets and not the ships in this target.
So I'm just sitting here taking...
Yeah, and you're going to have to... They all look like missiles to me. It doesn't look like...
I don't think they changed anything.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they have. But yeah, it's hard for me to see certain small details on Jeff's screen.
But I've got it zoomed in and I don't see any difference.
Okay.
Except for like I said, the ship missiles seem like they're bright orange now instead of, I don't remember them being quite so orange.
Okay.
I do.
Really?
Yeah, Ben had a lot of these. Yeah.
They look like ghost missiles. Like they don't look like anything. They look like orange carrots or something.
Yes. The rabbit army is after you, Jeff.
Takes going vegan.
Yeah. So.
But I'm thinking about the same damage as last time.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't expecting a real change in difference. What I was expecting was a change in the graphics to better reflect that some of these are some of the rockets, and in regards to your countermeasures, and some of them are missiles, but they all appear to still be missiles.
Yeah. There's not. What are we looking for? A rocket-looking one?
Yeah, something that looks like a rocket. I mean, there's the mortars, and there's regular old school mortar, and then there's the Vulture missile looking things, and that's all I see personally in this target.
Yeah.
So
it would look like incoming the way my outgoing rockets look then.
yeah, maybe a different color, but yeah, that same sort of, and also make it look like a rocket, because if you look at some of the other ones, they have the rockets coming from launchers. I wish at some point they would watch some older videos or just look at their own bases and realize, okay, in my base, this fires launchers, this fires rockets, this fires missiles, because they don't always seem to, in certain targets, they don't get that right. And so they have, they're using the wrong graphics. So, all right. Let's see.
That's a lot higher than I normally did, but I just sat under them for a while.
Okay.
Usually I snipe out the fleets. They're going in a circle. You can just sort of sit outside everybody's range and snipe out all the fleets before you go into the base. Takes a lot longer that way, unfortunately. That's the trade-off. Everything is time versus money in this game. They've got it down to a science.
Seem to have lost Hefe.
Uh-oh.
Hi. I'm not a replacement for Hefe. I hope not. I'm here now.
Hi, Brian. No, I don't think so. I think Hefe just got hit by a hurricane.
Well, he's jumping in and out pretty quick for someone getting hit by a hurricane. I hope he's all right.
It's a tornado. It's bringing him in and back out again and in and back out.
He's.
I'm here. It was
rotating.
just, I was just having. For some reason I was having lag issues with the controls, and I was like, I would click on one person to remove them, and it was somebody else, and so I accidentally removed myself at some point in time.
Oh, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
I've missed everything. This is live from my break at work. Can I be annoyed at / in awe of the ship now? The Dragoon flag?
Go for
Which
it.
part of it? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh my god. Like, why is that one ship's aura 16,000?
Yeah.
And if you get it quickly,
slide 5, I think, Lady Cat, 4 or 5, the appropriate slide.
It's worth 5. Oh,
no, the slide. I already have a slide with explaining.
Yeah.
The okay, give it a couple clicks, or the one to show the damage difference. There we go. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I figured you'd redo this. I'd seen it, but yeah, it's the whole. That one ship is worth the full fleet in terms of auras, in terms of survival, which is just insane.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's got the heavy weapons, which really aren't very heavy, if I'm honest.
They're light.
I can put one. I think if I swap a weapon slot out to like a Gale just for UAVs and because it's lighter, then I can have my full complement of somewhat heavy specials and all 4 armor on there, and all of the regular guns except for the one thing changed to a Gale 3. So it's good that that doesn't affect the weight too much. I'm also concerned that those guns, that's what, about 4 to 5 times the power of a regular gun. So this is about, it's got the defenses in the aura of all of your holes, and it's got the firepower of let's call it 9. So it's got the firepower of 2.5.
No, it doesn't really. It doesn't really though, because you should watch it. Go to the next slide.
I mean, there's
Next slide. Yeah, I'm talking about the weapon on this one. Give it another click.
Yeah, that's a little over 4.5 times reload. Does nothing affect the reload of those?
Yeah. Does not
Nothing?
benefit. Yeah. Well, I haven't won them yet or built one yet. Does not benefit from reload bonuses. So what you see on the top line is the Tyrant, which is the best light weapon or whatever normal weapon. And then you got the Lancer, which is the heavy weapon, which has less than half the DPS, but it has the massive Alpha Strike, or whatever you want to call it, we were talking about earlier. So it's sort of like what they did, because it doesn't have an overload. So what appears they've done is to keep us from messing around and finding how they do the overload. And like go park for some period of time and then come back and blow stuff up. They've sort of just made the overload the only weapon that it has. And so now it fires, because it's the 10th as often as the normal weapon, because I made the assumption that I'm Scald and I have the fast flag or fast mag or whatever the special that came with it that provides reload and criticals. So it appears that that big blue Papa Smurf thing is the only weapon that it has now. It's just being presented to us in a different manner, is the way I look at it.
Okay, I don't feel so bad about that, because then it's, I assume rank bonus and reload bonus won't do anything for it, so it really is 5 seconds flat. Okay, that's not so bad. I'm a little more okay with that. It just seems. Oh, do we know if the onboard weapon gets bonuses from damage normally? Like, is that ballistic?
Well, this isn't an onboard. This is just a heavy.
Well,
you're
yeah,
talking. Go back to the onboard. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. We don't know what it is. The grenade thing.
It seems so strange. Like the salvo, it's 50,000, so it looks like normal damage, but it's splash. It's so weird.
What, the shrapnel grenade? What are you talking about?
Yeah, the grenade. It's got like a. It's got a splash stat.
Yeah, it's got a splash stat, and it's got a salvo of 4, and there's nothing here describing it as ballistic, but if it is ballistic, yeah, you would expect that whatever special you add would modify it. So if you put on nuclear accelerators 3, you would get the range bonuses and whatnot. If that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I don't think it's any bonuses from anything personally, but it's interesting to look at.
Okay.
What's a tiny angle though? The firing angle.
We're assuming it fires out the front. I'm they didn't put that much flavor text in this one. It seems like they could have added a couple, more. Because I think
budget for flavor.
Because all the flavor text is. Did you read through it, everybody, and tell me if you learned anything about this?
I think the flavor text budget all went into the aura budget.
Yeah.
It just translates to, it's the flag, you want it, build it, go.
The flag is, I think it's going to be necessary. It's just the 7-day build time, and it doesn't have a range. So if people are going to have issues getting it done, it seems like the old school park it in the corner possibilities are here for this one.
I'm trying to figure out the minimum you can get away with because you'll have this week's FM and next week's FM is going to save up for the
There's no
suppressor ish.
Yeah, there's no FM next week.
Oh.
Next week's raid.
Oh.
Well,
God.
there's one this week, but
Yeah.
next
This week's.
the raid.
Yeah, if you're saving up your tokens, you'd have saved up. You should have. You could use last week's tokens for this ship, and then this week's tokens for the thing in the raid. You could get a pretty good version of this out, I imagine, depending on how quick you earn it.
Well, and they also had Siege Spin last week, which maxed you out at 5 Tier 8 Siege tokens, which you could also use on this. So between 1 week's of tokens, if you have 6 days, plus another 5, you have 11 days. Aussie went through a build, and you said it was 18 to complete.
Yeah, but that's without building the blank and then using the 15% reductions from your labs to refit them.
Okay, so we're probably down to 15 days.
Yeah, probably somewhere in that area.
Yeah. So.
Too bad they didn't give us upgrade tokens.
Yet.
I'm thinking they're going to come in an LTO this week coming up.
Well, I
It would
I
have
don't
been
know. I'm most upset about the lack of VXP tokens, but yeah, because we're given this. We had the Siege Spin last week, which would provide 120 VXP if the if we were able to hold 10. We're only able to hold 5, so I have the ability to, once I have this built, if it ever happens with the potential of power loss at any point, I only get 60, so it's only half ranked. They did not give us sync drives that are appropriate for this, and you wouldn't have, from how sync drives are explained, you wouldn't need to put a sync drive on this one. You would need to put a sync drive on all the other ones. So a concussive sync drive or whatnot, because it slows to that of the slowest ship. And this would be the slowest ship in regards to turn speed if it's not ranked. So now you're asked to go and put an engine on there that doesn't really work, but it sort of works. It's probably good enough, but I mean, maybe at the beginning, if I started putting concussive sync drives on them, I wouldn't have an issue. I don't know. I'm just worried about it, and I know Ben. Is Ben one of the people accidentally? I put Ben in the purgatory.
this video.
Yes, it was like lagging, and I was just accidentally putting people in there, including myself. But because a couple months ago, didn't we have like a 12-hour VXP? I think it was it Robinson Biggins or Half Centaur? Just like one night, he's like decided to turn it on, the VXP, and it stayed on for 12 hours. And maybe that's how we're supposed to rank this thing up. I'm not certain how we're supposed to get this ranked, because it's not going to drive well with the other ones. Unless you want to refit the rest of your ships with sync drives of some sort.
They should have given us sync drives for this if that's what they wanted.
Depending on the engine and what it stacks with, you might be able to chuck on. That there isn't exactly. I don't think there's exactly a 75% turn thing like an ion thrusters, but you could probably get sort of close. It's not ideal. You'd have to refit away from it, but it's probably pretty cheap to put on in the first place.
But sort of close for this one sucks. Take a look at the what's on the screen, the Cadillac Gauge V100 engine, which is a amped up version of the Apollo mechanic.
Are they all? They're all like that, right?
Yeah, they all have all the dragoons have this thing, which is like, I think the Apollo was plus 50% combat speed, but this doubles your combat speed as long as you don't stop. But if you have something with a different turn speed because it's not ranked, you're going to be forced to stop and let everything catch up, so you're not all over the freaking map. So I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how well that giant run down a lane of giant fire throwers and you have to dodge in the niche, the parts off the side. It depends on how heavy that plays into it, because then you just set a waypoint for all your ships to go to, and your number one ship might take the hit, but your number one ship is also very tanky.
It's no tankier than the other ones.
Yeah, I suppose. But it probably would technically be less tanky because you might not have armor on it. But you've got, what, 30,000 something survival on it? Once you add everything together? I hope that's enough.
Well, they scale it for that. So, and yeah, I don't know about waypoints and whatnot. Lady Cat, can you go to slide 9? Because the waypoint thing is this is the description of the scoundrel, which is one of the prizes. It's also immune to some of the new draconian slowing technologies, which we're jumping to the assumption is potentially the underwater mines like we see in the SSRBs, because the cannon does do submerged damage of 5,000. So that's also, anytime that you hit one of those fields, you're going to lose your Apollo function or your Cadillac function, whatever they're calling it at this point.
So maybe we should just use sonar.
Well, it depends on what their visible distance is. Yeah, but if you hit them, even if you shoot them, they create the fields, right? You don't have to run them over. You just have to shoot them.
Right.
And then
the fields are created. Even if you destroy them, the field is created. So
we gotta wait.
Or navigate around them. I'm just talking about using waypoints and try to automate stuff might be more difficult depending on what this new draconian slowing technology might be. That's all I'm saying.
I'm still holding out hope for buildings. I really hope they don't put those mines in there. Nobody liked those.
Okay.
No snap. All right, I gotta get out of here. Good luck, have fun, everybody.
I have a sheet. I have a shirt with those ice mines on them.
Bye.
You know, GM
Yes.
needs to sue. GM needs to sue Kixeye.
GM?
Yeah, General Motors.
Okay.
Well,
Why is
think about it. They named the armor the ZR-1 Corvette. They
Mhm.
named the engine system on this fleet Cadillac.
Cadillac. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's defamation of character.
You see, that's one way to put it. So,
Slander.
yes. I put the link in the right-hand side in case anybody else would like to join. There's nobody in purgatory right now. So,
Oh, did you let me out?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't see it. Okay.
Okay.
No wrong picture post yet.
No, not yet. So, do we have much else, or
You don't want me talking. You don't want me talking.
Not unless you want to talk about bounty. A couple of people were discussing bounty in chat a little bit earlier.
if anybody wants to discuss it, I didn't participate, so
I actually ended up doing a little bit of it. I hadn't planned on it because I was getting ready for a storm, but fortunately I just got clipped by the storm. Unlike what's going to happen to you. But so I thought I had more time.
Yeah.
I did a little bit.
Well, we could replay from last week about Bounty was watching, Jeff's fleet die in the Kickside base.
Yeah. See, normally I would have done a bounty. I would have started it right away for those kickside bases, but they made them difficult. And they made them difficult for PvE players. I'm sure it was fine for normal PvP players, but for us PvE players, we didn't have the fleets and the tools to get those bases, so we couldn't get those higher points. So there was no need to start early the first 24 hours. Not for us.
Ow.
Nope.
Ow. Ow.
Uh-oh.
I think Aussie, you did okay on bounty. How'd you do?
Yeah, I did all right. Okay. 400 and something, I think.
Good job.
Hang on, is it still up? Oh, it's not up anymore.
Did you get a leaderboard prize?
Yes.
Congratulations.
I was in the 11 to 30 or something. Something like that.
Good job.
Yeah. Good job. Bounty sucked.
Thank you. Nah.
I said I wasn't going to get in it. I did. And oh, my God.
How'd you do?
I only got like 100K, but I just wanted to shove screwdrivers through my eyes from hitting them targets.
Like the replicas.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just grinding.
Yeah.
I just auto did 90s with my breachers, so
yeah.
I did that and autoed the 120s with my Praetorians. It's a very grindy weekend.
Yeah, I was more interested in doing the TLCs than bounty, though.
Yeah, I did some of those too.
I mean,
Aww.
built up my 5 tier 8 siege tokens. So I'll have that.
Yeah, I got those, and I did the breacher campaign. I finally got enough tokens to get a YouTube breacher, so I have one.
Yeah.
So that'll be good for next bounty.
Yeah, that's what I went for, was like the breacher stuff. Personally, because mine was U0.
I'll have one and two, and the rest are using.
Yeah.
But I also did some of the howler, because just enough to get. Just enough. I wish Happy was here so we could see the baby.
I know.
He sounds so cute. Yeah, I agree 100% about that. Yeah, I did enough for the howler, so I got a one howler now. So getting there slowly.
Yeah. And with that weather coming down on you.
Yeah, I had more important stuff to worry about than the game.
Yeah.
So I got my priorities right. But it's still, when the time allowed, I came back and autoed what I could.
Yeah.
And I did good. I didn't even lose power, so.
Nice.
Yeah. Like I said, I got clipped barely.
Yeah, and Ben, who can run through the 126, moves away right before Pillage. So, hey, Lego, how are you doing?
Hey, guys, I'm doing all right. Is my mic working okay?
Yep.
Thank God I got it figured out.
Yeah, you got a new one?
Yeah, I had to I had to.
Okay.
That old steam-powered laptop I was using just wasn't cutting it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't use it indoors. You know, carbon monoxide is a killer.
No, I actually enjoyed this bounty, and I think part of it was because they didn't have a bounty. They skipped one. And base hitting is what drew me to this game when I first started playing.
Mm-hmm.
So I hit more people bases than I did the replicas.
Okay.
And that's where I got most of my points. A lot of people were doing the shipwreck side of it and getting points, and I hit bases way above my level, and their bases are horrible, but they got a lot of points from doing the shipwreck side.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to be a PvP player, but just got to the point where I had to choose one or the other. And you can't just do PvP in the game, you have to do PvE also.
Yeah.
Hey, Grimace! Long time no see.
Mm-hmm. So,
But because of all the events that were taking place all at the same time, I got down to the wire finishing the FM from last week because of it.
yeah, that's really my concern. Well, besides, you know, the hurricane's going to potentially could get in the way, but doing the FM and Pillage, which both create a lot of repairs. The VXP weekend didn't. Bounty, you have 2 repair slots. And then this week is the first real test, quote unquote, of how the players are going to react to having both of these things happening simultaneously.
Well, my plan for that is nail Pillage while I'm awake and that. And then before I go to bed at night, go out auto 5 of the 131s and then go to bed.
Okay.
Let them repair overnight. You know, and that'll get me what I want.
The rest of us will just grind away.
I mean,
I'll be doing Saturn and Nemes as my guess more than the Praetorians for Pillage because I need the Praetorians to auto the 120s.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll see how it plays out and see what people are able to figure out. Is there anything else? Because I, you know, like I said, I might be running out of power at some point, so I probably should go hit some target. So, is there anything else that people want to discuss on the live show?
No. I've got to go anyway, so I'll catch you later.
See ya.
Rossi.
So, okay. Well,
I nicely asked on Discord about Wrong Thinkers posts, and of course they were rude.
well, yeah. Well,
You're never rude. What's
Julie's about to respond, so up shortly, any minute, in fact. Oh, yeah, they just want us to stay online for another 15 minutes.
No, what they want is the show to end and then they post it.
Seems like that.
Yeah. Well, actually, BP. What was the last one? BP last week was it went up during the show. I just didn't notice. So it went up like a couple minutes before the show ended. So on Friday. So I don't know if it's intentional. I don't think it is. So
Well, we go over it Friday if we do show Friday if you have power.
yeah. Well,
my dragon builds. I'm going to have to build one as a countermeasure tank because I built them all with just weapons. The 4 that I have built. thinking the UAVs wouldn't be that big of a deal, but after hearing down through the grapevine that, yeah, they might be a major issue. So,
well, if you look at those the targets that we saw, which I don't know that there's going to be the targets in the raid, and I really hope that's not true. The only damage that you were taking, what if you could counter all the UAVs, no damage there. The launchers, you could drive underneath if you had enough speed and drove correctly, and then the short range ballistics could all be outranged. So what we saw in the was actually a very easy target for built fleets because there was nothing that you were going to take damage from. So yeah, I expect something to change. And as we talked about in the slide that's up there now is the new draconian slowing technology. That might be the twist, or they're going to change something associated with the UAV, because the UAV appears to be the only one that's going to looking at it that would provide the certain damage, the unavoidable damage that they introduced into targets about 3 years ago, two or 3 years ago. So I don't know. As soon as I end it, I don't know. I could end this show. I mean, I think it's going to be about balancing out the interceptors. So I don't have much to say about that. So I guess we can wait till Friday if there is going to be a Friday show. Hopefully there will be.
There will be. You'll be safe. You'll have power.
Okay. Ben's going to drive down and fire up a generator.
Not just me.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, thanks everybody for showing up on the panel, and I posted the link for one last time, and hopefully see you all on Friday. If not, some point in the not so distant future.
Good night, everybody.
Stay safe.
yeah, stay safe.
Later, people.
Later.
Bye bye.